Thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe for more. Don't forget to click the bell if you like the video.
Yeah, Ravi is going to explain us, give a tour of the boat, what is involved, what are there, what are, different components in the boat. Ravi, go ahead.
So basically, the boat has a lot of storage space. You won't believe it. It's plenty of storage space. So if each of these underneath the seats, you have a lot of storage space where you can put mostly you have your boat covers and all those things inside. But you can put anything. There's a storage space here. There's a storage space under this part front of the boat, and also most of the boats, if not all, they have. This one has ladders to if you're in the water and you want to come out, you have foldable ladders in the front and the back. Some boats have in the back. Some boats have only in the front. That's kind of a ladder. If you want to get into the boat from the water, you can do that. People who do the diving or swim in the water, middle of the lake, they want to get into the boat. They can also without ladder, but it's easier to get with ladder.
What is this, Ravi? What is this black one?
This is so it's called fenders. This is to protect the boat, especially when you park the boat in the dock, and if the where you parked is wavy, you put it next to it so that it protects. It's like a cushion. It protects the boat from the side of the curb of the dock. So if it hits the boat because of the waves, keeps hitting the dock, and this will protect it. So and usually you put the fenders. You call it fender, and fenders are on either side of the boat. It's up to you if you want to protect it, but.
So you have nice cup holders. I think just like the car.
Just like the car, you have cup holders. I got to clean it up, but it's got a gas, obviously a gas tank. It's a so it depends upon again the engine, the model. This is a V8, and it's like and it's got a huge tank. I was surprised. It's got like 75 gallons of tank because. The boat is a gas guzzler, honestly. It's not like it's not even like SUV. It's even worse than SUV. It's got a lot of resistance in the water, and then propeller has to propel. So I would say average a gallon of gas covers up to 7 to 8 miles. I got to try different modes of speed. If you go in a smooth drive, then probably it'll give the maximum efficiency. But if you go like high speeding, probably it'll give only 6 miles. In nautical miles,
What is this? What is this small?
So this is the port side. This is like to get out. People who don't want to walk or jump on it. You just want to walk out into the dock, right? Because there's a dock, there's a platform. You walk out. So further, this is the door to that.
Okay.
And usually it's on the port
storage
side.
Space too?
So this is another storage space. It's a long storage space where you can put big, big ice stuff, party stuff, and all those bottles and everything here.
Okay.
So
there's a nice seating too.
Yeah. And the other thing is, depending upon the boats, right? You can cover all this with another. There's a seat cushions inside the storage here.
Okay.
There's some seat cushions. You can put the seat cushions. You can in fact cover this whole front part.
Okay.
With all cushion.
Oh,
and
wow.
This becomes a sleeping bed.
Oh wow.
So if somebody has interest in watching the stars in the night, stargazing, you can sleep also. Except that you got to have proper protective wear and not in the winter, obviously.
So let me ask you, Ravi, what is the capacity of this boat? How many people can?
So this specific one is 12 to they say 13, but I would put it as 12.
Well, safe.
Or 1800 pounds.
Okay.
So 1800 pounds is the rating. Usually boats have a rating.
Okay.
They put it, there's a label somewhere. I had to find it. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
label that gives that.
Okay.
But the owner's manual says
1800 pounds. Okay.
So you got to plan around. If everybody's a 200 pounder, then obviously you don't want to have
Less
more
people.
than 9. You know, and it can take more than that because you got to take into account the. It doesn't 800 pounds does not include the fuel weight. You know, it's excluding the fuel weight is 800 passenger weight, right? So if you have a mix of family, right, kids and elders,
Yes.
you know,
One family, nicely.
yeah,
you can
then
enjoy
I
this.
think 3 families can fit in.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
but it's comfortably, I would say, 8 people is comfortable.
Comfortable,
You have
yeah.
enough leg room.
We are not squeezing in.
You're not squeezing in.
Yes.
So,
Let's see
and
this part.
again, depending upon the boat length and boat size, this is a 23 feet one. You're fine. So some of them have a toilet. This one has a toilet with a
Wow.
inside cabin.
Oh, I did not know that. There's a toilet, there's a
Toilet and
sink. There's a sink, there's a toilet. Wow.
Yeah, toilet. Of course, that means more maintenance.
Yes. Yes.
So that means more items to drain the water. So
Yes.
I use it only for emergency. I put very little water because
Yes.
it's more work to drain it because I do it myself. And this is the another storage. Again, as I said, there's a lot of storage. And that's the inside of the engine. That's where water tank is, right?
Yes.
That's one of the items that I usually drain it. Disconnect the hoses, and this is the part. I mean, we have right now in the middle of the lake, but if you take it off this side, then this will come out like this. This is the engine. Yes, you know, this is a Volvo Penta engine. As I said, it's a 5.7 liters. Yeah, it's a pretty big one. So, you know, when you do the maintenance, these are the hoses I was talking about where you need to take it off and drain it. And then engine block has some kind of nuts. You take the nuts off behind it and the water will drain out. So whatever is what is engine is drained out from through the hoses and through those engine blocks. Okay, and there's a lot of YouTube videos on it, how to do it. That's how I practice it myself when I did it for the first time. So yeah, it's
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
And this is another ladder, I guess.
Oh, there's
right?
another ladder, you know.
In the back.
Yeah, and you got to be careful. This is an inboard, outboard. Yeah. Well, one of the things you got to be careful is, you know, as I was saying earlier, right? This is inboard, outboard. When I say inboard, outboard, the engine is inside. The outside is the propeller. Obviously, you got to have proper outside. There are some boats where it's completely outboard, where you don't have engine here at all. The engine is outside. You can see the engine. You know, probably the fishing boat we saw earlier. That's a completely outboard engine. And well, what's the thing? You know, if you have an outboard engine, it will block your view, and you can't do much activities behind. You know? If it is inboard, outboard like this, then you can do a lot of activities, like, you know, people can sit behind too. The newer models of the boat where they have the seating outside too. You know. Here you can sit there, but there's a cushion too outside. And you can do a lot of water sports comfortably. But inboard, outboard like this is high maintenance. Looks good, but high maintenance. You know. But the outboards are easy maintenance because the engine is outside, so it's easy to do the maintenance task, and you don't need to do that much of a winterization there for outboard engines. So that's one of the things that people need to weigh in what they want. You know, depending upon it, they can choose the inboard, outboard, which is this one, or they call it a stern drive. You know, is also the other name for inboard, outboard, or just the outboard.
Ravi, you want to explain the steering, how this works basically?
Yeah, this is pretty much like a car, the steering wheel. You know, you just turn the right, it'll go right. But the main thing is, just like car, there's an ignition, right? Once you start the engine, and this is the gear part. So this is where the handle, right? It's got only 2 directions. You can go forward or you can go backward. So if you do this, then you're in the forward gear, and that's it. There's no multiple gears. And then if you want to go backwards, then just move it back all the way behind, and then it'll go backward. So I mean, usually don't do reverse that much. You always do forward, most of the times, unless you need to reverse it. When you're in the cove and you need to reverse it, that's when you use the reverse gear. And the gadgets are very much like a car gadget. You see all those indicators there. So it's like you see RPM and all the fuel indicators there. The one difference is, depending upon the boat and the model of the boat, this is like a kind of a couple of years old boat. Some of the newer ones, they have a navigation console with all the top gadgets and everything. The main thing with the boat, just like car, it's pretty much managing and maintaining a boat is just like maintaining a car, but a little bit you got to get more involved. I mean, you can ask somebody to maintain for you. Obviously, it costs more, or if you do that, or and if you're handy enough, if you want to maintain yourself, that's even better, right? So the main thing in the boats is winterization. So in the winter, you got to drain the water out. Why? It's because boats, unlike car, the engine doesn't have any radiator. Cars have radiator, right? That cools the engine. The boat doesn't have a radiator, so it gets the water from the lake. There's an inlet pump, takes the water, and then cools the engine off, and then pumps it out. So what happens is, during the regular season, from let's say March till I would say even November, it's okay because it doesn't go below freezing. But once the temperatures goes to the freezing, water inside the engine is not a good thing. Expansion of, when it becomes ice, right, freezing point, expansion, contraction of the ice will break the engine or engine blocks. So that will be expensive to fix it, right? So for that, you got to do winterization. So winterization is the process of draining the water out. So if somebody is handy, if they can, it's not that complex. It's a 15 to 20 minutes process where you need a couple of pipes, drain pipes. You need to drain it out and pump it out. And usually when if you put a boat in your dock, that means it's in the water, right, all the time, then it's a good idea to lift the boat. But if some people put the boat on the trailer, that's fine, then it is safe, right? So that is the winterization, is one aspect of it. And just like any other maintenance in the car, just like any other maintenance of the car, you also have to do some oil change for the engine one, and then there's another loop change for the gear. There is a propeller outside, so that has a gear loop, so that also needs to be drained out, every year, or every 100 hours of boating time you got to change it. Usually you don't cross 100 hours in a year, so like even if you start the boat, even if you go further, you won't keep the engine running all the time. Like for example, right now we are here at the center of the almost a part of the lake. We're not running the engine all the time. We probably had the engine started only for like 15 minutes max. That's it. So usually 100 hours is a lot of time, a lot of boating time. So that means if somebody boats every day for the entire season, couple of seasons, then only it'll touch 100 hours. And that's a good enough time. After 100 hours, they recommend to do the oil change. I think that's it. It's the two options. One is you can do it yourself, just like how we maintain the car, or you can give it to somebody else to do it. And if you give it to somebody else to do it, it'll cost a little bit more. That's one of the things one has to keep in mind for the boating. Yeah.